Before we start, I'd want you to hit that red subscribe button so that you never miss out on any of our videos. Jeff Bezos is already the world's wealthiest person by a healthy margin, and he's the founder and CEO of one of the world's few trillion-dollar companies. But before the decade is over, one extremely optimistic estimate projects that the Amazon CEO could also become worth $1 trillion all by himself. That's according to a new analysis from Comparison, a content platform that serves small and medium-sized businesses. Comparison predicts that Bezos will become the world's first trillionaire by 2026, according to the firm's new study, which looks at the average annual growth of billionaires' net worth over the past 5 years. Bezos is already currently worth $143 billion, according to Bloomberg, and Comparison calculated to Amazon CEO's net worth has increased by an average of 34% in each of the past 5 years. Bezos' wealth has continued to grow steadily, even with his ex-wife McGee getting only roughly $38 billion of his Amazon stake as part of his 2019 divorce settlement. Overall, Bezos' net worth has been more than doubled since 2015, when it has been around $63 billion, according to Bloomberg. If that pace of 34% annual growth continues, Comparison says the Bezos total net worth could be up to $1 trillion mark before the end of 2016, at which point he'll be 62. However, the likelihood of Bezos actually continuing to grow his vast personal fortune at such astounding pace is probably fairly slim. RBC Capital Markets tech analyst Mark Mahaney was brief in his reaction to the optimistic projection by Comparison. Amazon could become a $2 trillion company after the coronavirus. Ballpen Capital. The skepticism is far, considering that the Comparison projects assume that Bezos' net worth will continue to grow apace with its recent trajectory, which has already made him the wealthiest person in the modern history. Continuing on the pace would be a tall order for anyone or a company. After all, while Amazon's business has thrived so far during the current economic crisis and coronavirus pandemic, boosting Bezos' personal net worth in the process, a major economic downturn could still potentially alter his fortunes at some point in the next few years.
Amazon's expansion into AI drone delivery and robotics could help the company cut delivery costs and increase revenue. This in turn could result in better earnings and a higher Amazon share price. Bezos will turn 62 in 2026, so even if he isn't a trillionaire by then, he will still likely reach the milestone in his lifetime. Bezos' net worth has increased dramatically in 2020.
He's far from the only person who is skeptical that Bezos and Amazon's recent success accurately predict their future performance. Vox notes that Comparison's projection makes a lot of assumptions, most notably that Amazon's incredibly strong performance over the past decade, which has been fueled by Bezos' net worth growth, can continue at the same strong pace for several more years, even as the American economy embarks on what is expected to be a downturn that could last several years. Of course, Amazon has fared much better than any other companies in recent months amidst the pandemic and resulting economic crisis. For instance, Facebook's stock price is down slightly from the start of 2020, while Amazon is still up by roughly 25% since the beginning of the year, as retail closures and stay-at-home orders have been resulting in an uptick online orders for the e-commerce giant. Because the bulk of Bezos' personal wealth is tied to more than 50 million shares of Amazon stock, the company's booming business also continues to boost his own personal fortune. But that's far from a guarantee that his net worth will continue to enjoy 34% annual growth over the next several years. In 2018, CNBC's Robert Frank noted that Amazon would need to reach a share price of more than $12,600 per share. The company is around $2,377 per share as of Friday, in order for Bezos to reach a net worth of $1 trillion. Due to the fact that his own wealth is so closely tied to the company's market value, and that was even before Bezos' Amazon shares shrunk somewhat due to his divorce and various Amazon stock sales he's used to fund his space exploration company, Blue Origin. With Bezos' current Amazon stake equal to roughly 11% of the company, Amazon would need to reach a market value of nearly 11 trillion by 2026 in order to make its founder a trillion in line with the comparisons projects. 2 years ago, Frank noted that it may seem implausible or far-fetched that Amazon could reach such heights, but he added, so was the idea of a 1 trillion Amazon, not too long ago. Regardless, comparison projection is still worth noting, if only because it shows just how wealthy the world's wealthiest person could be if his remarkable recent run were to continue, relatively unchecked, for several or more years. Bezos may not really become a trillionaire by 2026, but the fact that his current trajectory could put him near that mark helps to highlight just how rapidly he's managed to accumulate even more massive wealth over the past 5 years. Meanwhile, Comparison's prediction has been met with some backlash online from people who are offended at the idea that Bezos' wealth continues to increase even as the economy suffers and tens of millions of Americans have lost their jobs over the past 2 months. Many critics took to Twitter on Thursday to voice their displeasure at the fact that Bezos' wealth could continue to grow exponentially while so many others suffer, including Sen. Elizabeth Warren, who called Bezos' path to trillionaire status immoral, and retrained criticism of Amazon's treatment of its warehouse workers. Bezos and Amazon have faced criticism over the company's recent decision to end its unlimited unpaid time off policy for workers. Former Amazon Web Services Vice President Tim Bray resigned earlier this month over Amazon's decision to fire workers who openly criticized the company's labor practices, and Amazon warehouse workers have expressed frustration over the company's handling of the coronavirus threat at the workplace. Amazon did not immediately respond to CNBS, make a request for a comment through a company has recently noted that Amazon has spent nearly $800 million on increased wages amid the coronavirus pandemic, and the company plans to invest roughly $4 billion of second quarter profit in increased wages as well as coronavirus testing capabilities and personal protective equipment for workers. That's all for today. I hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button to the channel so that you never miss out on any of our videos.